Robert Redford is 89 years old, and he's finally talking about his friend Paul Newman. Robert Redford was born with the full name Charles Robert Redford, Jr. on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California. He grew up in a regular family where his mom, Martha Hart, was a freelance artist who drew pictures for ads and taught him to love art and beauty. His dad, Charles Robert Redford, Sr., worked as a scientist mixing chemicals in a lab, and he helped keep Robert grounded and practical. Growing up in Southern California, Robert got to see the exciting culture of the area and the magic of Hollywood, which made him start thinking about becoming an actor and making movies. Robert's school years and early life were really important too. He went to Van Nuys High School, where he got interested in drama and acting by being in school plays and trying different creative activities. After finishing high school, he went to the University of Colorado, where he first studied how to design buildings, showing he was curious about many different things. But his love for the arts pulled him away from designing buildings and toward acting instead, so he decided to get proper training in performing. He studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, a famous school that gave him serious training and connected him with important teachers who saw he had natural talent and could be great. Robert's acting career started taking off in the late 1950s and early 1960s when he appeared on TV shows and had small parts in movies. But it was during the late 1960s and 1970s that he became a real Hollywood superstar. His big break came in the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 1969, where he acted alongside Paul Newman. This movie caught everyone's attention and made him known as a charming leading man who was both tough and classy at the same time. Robert's acting as the Sundance Kid wasn't just praised by movie critics, it also influenced culture by showing a new type of American hero, someone who was rebellious, thoughtful, and charming all at once. His later roles in movies like The Sting in 1973, All the President's Men in 1976, and Out of Africa in 1985 showed even more of what he could do as an actor, proving he could play complicated characters with many layers and work in all kinds of movies, from action and drama to romance and political thrillers. Besides acting, Robert Redford is also known as a forward-thinking filmmaker and someone who supports independent movies. In 1980, he started the Sundance Institute, a non-profit organization that helps independent filmmakers and encourages new talent. This project led to the Sundance Film Festival, which became the most important place for independent films around the world, helping launch the careers of tons of directors, actors, and writers. Robert's dedication to creative freedom and new ways of telling stories changed American cinema completely, making sure that new voices could challenge the usual stories and bring fresh ideas to audiences. On top of his work at Sundance, Robert directed and produced several praised films, including Ordinary People in 1980, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture and got him nominated for Best Director, proving he was an artist who could create great stories and shape the movie industry itself. In the mid-1980s, Robert Redford kept building his reputation as one of Hollywood's most talented and interesting actors. During this time, he starred in important films like The Natural in 1984, a sports movie that showed Robert's ability to express both charm and deep emotions as he played Roy Hobbs, a baseball player who had talent, weakness, and an almost legendary quality that connected with audiences. Around the same time, he appeared in Out of Africa in 1985, the big romantic movie based on Karen Blixen's book, which showed Robert could play complex characters in beautiful, story-rich films. Besides his work in front of the camera, Robert also started spending more time on his love for directing. This interest was clear with the Milagro-Beanfield War in 1988, a film he directed based on John Nichols' book, which let him combine his artistic style with stories about important social issues. In this project, Robert told a story about community, corruption, and cultural identity, proving his skills went far beyond acting into a detailed and observant directing style. In 1992, Robert made his reputation as a skilled director even stronger with A River Runs Through It, a highly praised family drama that explored themes of family relationships, personal loss, and the quiet beauty of nature, starring Brad Pitt and Craig Sheffer. The film let Robert blend poetic camera work with personal storytelling, showing his ability to bring out powerful performances from young actors while keeping a thoughtful, almost poem-like tone. His directing was widely praised for its care and artistry, strengthening Robert's position not only as a screen icon, but also as a filmmaker who could create deeply touching movie experiences. 2 years later, in 1994, Robert directed Quiz Show, a project that showed his strong interest in American history and moral questions. The film looked at the 1950s quiz show scandals, where popular TV programs were rigged to boost ratings, and it offered a sharp criticism of media ethics, corporate power, and the breakdown of public trust. By taking on such a controversial and intellectually challenging topic, Robert showed his willingness to tackle complex social issues through movies, while also displaying his skill in balancing dramatic tension, character growth, and historical accuracy. Robert continued to work on both acting and directing throughout the late 1990s. In 1998, he both starred in and directed The Horse Whisperer, a film that combined a deeply emotional story with stunning camera work of the American West. The story focused on healing, both for humans and horses, and let Robert explore themes of trauma, recovery, and the healing power of nature. His work on this project showed his unique ability to direct himself while keeping the story together and emotionally real, further building his reputation as a filmmaker with exceptional understanding and care. In the 2000s, Robert stayed active both in acting and directing. He starred in the 2007 political drama Lions for Lambs, playing a university professor in a story that looked at how politics, media, and personal responsibility connect. While acting in this project, Robert continued to show his lasting charm and commanding presence. In 2011, he went back to directing with The Conspirator, a historical drama focused on Mary Surratt and what happened after Abraham Lincoln's assassination, showing his continued interest in moral complexity, justice, and historical stories. The next year, he combined his two talents again in The Company You Keep in 2012, a film starring Shia LaBeouf, where Robert both directed and appeared, skillfully handling themes of political activism, secrets, and personal responsibility, and proving that even many decades into his career, he was still a dynamic, multi-talented force in Hollywood. On August 9, 1958, Robert Redford married Lola Van Wagenen in a private ceremony in Las Vegas, Nevada, starting a long and complicated personal relationship that would last for decades. The choice of Las Vegas for the wedding showed both a desire for privacy and the practical ease of the city's wedding places, which were already famous for being efficient and private, even in the 1950s. To celebrate with family and friends in a more personal and traditional way, a second reception was held at Lola's grandmother's house on September 12th of the same year, letting their close relatives join in the happy occasion and make special memories. Together, Robert and Lola had 4 children, each with their own unique life story and connection to their father. Their first child, Scott Anthony Redford, was born on September 1st, 1959, but sadly died at just 2.5 months old on November 17, 1959, because of sudden infant death syndrome. Scott was buried at Provo City Cemetery in Provo, Utah, leaving a lasting feeling of sadness and tenderness in Robert and Lola's lives. Their second child, Shauna Jean Redford, born on November 15, 1960, grew up to be a talented painter, showing a creative side that was similar to her father's artistic interests. Shauna later married journalist and author Eric Schlosser, forming a partnership based on intellectual and cultural involvement. David James Redford, born on May 5, 1962, pursued a career in writing and film production, following his father's path by contributing to the creative world behind the camera. Sadly, James died on October 16, 2020. leaving behind a legacy of storytelling and artistic dedication. Their youngest child, Amy Hart Redford, born on October 22, 1970, took on a multifaceted career in the entertainment industry as an actress, director, and producer, further extending the Redford family's influence in film and theater. Together, the Redfords have 7 grandchildren, each representing the continuation of the family line and the personal and creative legacy of Robert Redford. Even though Robert and Lola were deeply connected through their children and shared experiences, their romantic relationship slowly drifted apart over the years. Neither Robert nor Lola ever publicly confirmed an official separation or divorce, keeping a private stance on their changing relationship. However, in 1982, the well-known entertainment columnist Shirley Ader reported that the couple had been very much apart for a number of years, showing that the marriage had basically ended in personal terms, even if not legally finished. Nearly 10 years later, Parade magazine reflected the unclear status of their marriage, stating in 1991, "It is unclear whether the divorce has been finalized," highlighting the couple's ongoing privacy and discretion about personal matters despite Robert's public fame. On July 11, 2009, Robert Redford started a new chapter in his personal life when he married his longtime girlfriend, Sibylle Zagars, in a ceremony at the prestigious Louis C. Jacob Hotel in Hamburg, Germany. Zagars, a talented artist herself, had moved in with Robert in 1996, sharing his home in Sundance, Utah, and becoming an important part of his personal and creative life. Their marriage showed a mature partnership built on mutual respect, shared interests in art and culture, and a deep understanding of each other's lives shaped by decades of experience and previous relationships. This marriage that happened later in Robert's life emphasized his continuing desire for companionship, love, and stability, further highlighting the human side behind his public image as a legendary actor, director, and philanthropist. At the age of 89, Robert Redford, one of Hollywood's most lasting and iconic figures, finally opened up about his decades-long friendship and work partnership with the legendary actor Paul Newman. Robert's thoughts offer a rare and personal look into how deep their bond was, a connection that went far beyond just making movies together. In his comments, Robert didn't hold back, speaking honestly, and with the kind of understanding that only comes from a lifetime of shared experiences and mutual respect. Paul was the kind of person who made everyone around him better, Robert said, remembering the easy charisma and humility that Paul carried both on and off camera. He described how even when he was at the peak of fame, Paul never let success cloud his sense of humanity or generosity. Robert's words show not just admiration, but a deep personal affection that speaks to the rare kind of friendship built in the pressure of Hollywood and the teamwork world of filmmaking. Robert also thought about the unique dynamics of their work together on films. "We had this unspoken understanding on set," he explained, describing how their mutual respect let them push each other creatively while keeping a fun friendship that made long shooting days feel easy. He remembered the countless hours they spent talking about character motivations, making up scenes on the spot, and challenging each other to make their performances better, not for awards, but for the love of the craft itself. These memories show the deep artistic connection that made their work together not only commercially successful, but also critically respected. Beyond work, Robert spoke about the personal impact Paul had on his life. "He was more than a friend. He was like a brother," he said, touching on the personal support, advice, and quiet encouragement that defined their decades-long relationship. Robert's words suggest that their bond was a rare mixture of friendship, mentorship, and mutual understanding, the kind of friendship that goes beyond ordinary social connections and leaves a lasting mark on someone's life. Finally, Robert expressed a feeling of gratitude and nostalgia, emphasizing how Paul's influence extended far beyond just their own lives and careers. Paul taught me that success is measured by kindness, integrity, and the impact you have on people, Robert said, highlighting how Paul's legacy is not only about movies, but deeply human. By opening up at this late stage in life, Robert has given fans, historians, and fellow actors a treasured look into the life of one of Hollywood's greatest duos, a testimony to friendship, artistry, and lasting respect that continues to resonate decades after their first shared frame.